RicFit team, what's going on? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're staying safe and healthy. I'm back on YouTube. Haven't been here in a while. Thank you so much for tuning in. In today's video, I want to talk about how to plan an individual technical training session as a footballer. So, of course, you probably see tons of videos on TikTok, on Instagram, here on YouTube, especially from me, other creators like Become Elite, 7MLC, tons of great guys like that. And you want to know how to create your own plan, your own training session as a footballer to improve your ability on the field so it transfers to trainings and then most importantly transfers to games. So if you guys and girls know me, you know that I love plans. So the most important thing before you go out to the field is having a proper plan and a proper agenda before going out, instead of just going out to the field and going through the motions. Obviously, if you want to go play pickup with friends, that's obviously very, very recommended. I'm going to talk about that later in the video. But this is just when you're doing a one-on-one training session, an individual training session, how to improve your ability on the ball. Before I get into the whole segment, I want to talk about the most important thing. The most important thing is team training and games, getting experience on the pitch. You have to train with a team and then transfer the abilities that you've learned in your individual training, your one-on-one, as well as your team training into the matches. That's the ultimate way to develop yourself as a footballer. You need to get experience, you need to get games. So, individual training should never ever replace team training. It should just supplement team training. So for example, if you're training with your team about 2 to 4 times per week, depending on how your body feels, depending on how the match load is, depending on how you feel during the match, you can supplement your team training with 1 to 4 individual technical training sessions per week. Obviously, football is a team sport. It's an 11v11 sport, so you have to be able to succeed in a team setting. Just succeeding and being good in an individual session does nothing for you. You're using these individual sessions to improve your technical ability, your technical skills, so you can transfer that to team settings and then, like I said, to a game setting. And like I said, the second thing I want to talk about is playing pickup is very, very, very valuable. Playing matches and playing for 3 points on the weekend, playing for 3 points during the week is very important, but playing pickup and being able to express yourself is also very important. So being able to supplement that into your team training, whether it's in season or in the off season, you can do that a couple times per week depending on the level. Like I said, depending on how you feel and depending on what you want to work on. Though, during the in-season, I would recommend maybe staying away from pickup a little bit, maybe once per week, because the last thing you want to do during the season is get injured and, like I said, not be able to perform in the most important thing, which are the team matches. So before we get into the exact structure of how you want to structure your individual training, you need to have 2 questions answered. What is your why for going out to the pitch, and what do you want to improve on that specific day? So that comes from a proper self-analysis of yourself as a player and as an athlete. And you do that proper analysis through game analysis, whether that's watching your own game, and maybe you might not have the ability to watch your own game and get the film, but it's really being able to analyze yourself as a player and asking yourself, what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses? So once you have those 2 questions answered of why you're going to train and what you want to improve on that day, let's get into the exact structure of how to plan the session. Number 1, the first and most important thing is to get a proper 10 to 15 minute dynamic warm-up in. If you don't know how to do a dynamic warm-up, I'll put a link here. You can follow this exact warm-up. I've done a lot of stuff based on mobility, based on dynamic warm-up in my content, so check that out. But most importantly is you want to do dynamic stretching. So that's stretching while moving, not static stretching. Static stretching, we save that for the cool down for after your session. So you're doing dynamic work, so whether it be hamstring sweeps, knee hugs, quad pull and reaches, things like that to get the body ready to go. Then you want to end off your warm-up with some neural activation and some sprints to get your mind and body ready to go at full speed. So like I said, most important thing is you want to prepare that body for this session so you can perform at 100%. Like I said in the beginning, the last thing we want you to do during individual training is get yourself hurt. Why? Because like I said, most important is those team matches. So you want to be fresh and injury free. So I want to add in here as well, a warm-up is not sexy. It's not fun. It's not the thing that you see on Instagram and TikTok getting tons of likes and going viral, but it's huge. I would rather you do a 45-minute quality session with a 5 to 10 minute or a 15-minute warm-up included, rather than a 75 to 80-minute session. Because as I always say, quality is more important than quantity. So quality of training is much more important than quantity. So the second thing that you want to do in your individual training is about 10 to 25 minutes of ball mastery, depending on what you want to work on for the day, depending on your position, and depending on your skill level and your age. This obviously differs. I recommend ball mastery mostly for the younger players because you want to get more touches, you want to get familiar with every single part of the foot, manipulating the ball. And then for older players, I would recommend a shorter amount of time of ball mastery, but still doing it to get the touches in, to get a feel for the ball. And then when you go into your bigger session, your position-specific drills, like I'll talk about next, you'll be ready to go. And I always get the criticism that ball mastery isn't game realistic and it's not game specific. You're never gonna be doing a repeated skill in one place at a specific time during a game, which, okay, I believe that's true. Yes, you can say it's not game realistic, but it's gonna indirectly improve your ability in the match. Why? When you do a repeated skill, and like any skill, anything in life, when you do a lot of reps of something and you get better at it, you become more comfortable. You're gonna become more comfortable, you're gonna become more confident. When you become more comfortable and confident in a match on the ball, you're going to be able to do better things. You're going to be able to take more risks. You're going to have more confidence to dribble players. Ball mastery, yes, maybe it's not, you're not going to do a repeated skill in a game, but it's going to indirectly transfer it. So I really, really think that it's very, very valuable in your individual training. Obviously, you are your own player. You are your own person, so you decide. But for players that I train one-on-one individually, when I do technical work, when I train with teammates, we always get a little bit of ball mastery in, like I said, to warm up that mind and warm up every single part of your foot. So after you do your ball mastery, I suggest going into about 10 to 30 minutes, depending on space, like I said, depending on what you're trying to work on, depending on your level, 10 to 30 minutes of first touch and passing drills. This is absolutely huge. Goes without saying, being able to pass and receive the ball are the fundamentals of the game. And like I always say, you want to be able to master the basics. The mastery of the basics and the fundamentals is what's going to take you to the next level in this game. If you watch professional games, being able to take a two-touch pass, being able to play a proper, crisp one-touch pass with both feet, being able to take a proper directional touch in the direction that you want to go is absolutely crucial to being a top player and being consistent. Obviously, the main goal when you're taking that touch, when you're receiving that ball, is to keep possession for your team, keep possession for yourself, and ultimately, you want to try to go forward as quickly as possible. Obviously, there are instances where you go back and you want to keep the ball. That's all based on your decision making, based on your position, based on your role in the team. So just to add, for the first 5 to 10 minutes with the first touch and passing drills, I would recommend going at a medium intensity, hitting that ball with medium pace. And then once you really get warm and you start feeling it, you and your partner are ready to go. And like I said, you can do this with a partner or you can do this with a wall, because we're talking specifically about individual training. So once you're ready to go, you can start hitting that ball with more pace, whether you're working with a partner or whether you're working with a wall, and then you want to try to make it more game realistic. Quick game for you to work on first touch, you can do this even before a team training session with a partner, is you literally spend about 5 to 10 minutes with a partner. You challenge each other. Obviously, this is after your warm-up and your hips and your groins are ready and warmed up, because passing the ball at a high pace really puts that stuff at risk. So make sure you're warm, make sure you're ready, and then what you want to do is you start two-touch, really whip that ball into your partner, have he or she take a first touch, and then play that ball back, and it's called the two-touch game. And then whoever makes 5 mistakes first, gets a little flick in the ear, you can do that. Then you could do the same thing with one touch, hitting the ball starting slowly, and then whoever hits the ball away gets a point. First 1 to 3 or 5. Whoever gets the most mistakes gets those flicks. Just a simple game to try. Number 4, after you've done the warm-up, after you've done your ball mastery, after you've done your first touch, you should be ready to go at full speed. Now we are getting into the meat and the most important part of the training session, which is 20 to 40 minutes of position-specific work. Like I said before, you need to self-analyze yourself. What are the most important actions for you at your position? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What are the repeated actions that you're gonna take during a match? And you have to really analyze that before, like I said, we're making a plan, and then you have to go out to the field and execute that. So to add, this part of the session should be done at maximum intensity with as much rest as possible in between the reps, because most important here when we're mimicking game actions is we want to go at high speed possible. As high of a speed as possible, high intensity, game realistic as possible, so that can directly transfer to team training and then to matches. You are working on your technique and proper touches. You're not working on conditioning and fitness. So take as much rest as possible, but perform every single rep at high intensity as possible, like you would do in a match. So let me just give you a quick example. Right now I'm playing as a number 6, but let's give an example as a right back. If I'm trying to work on my position, what would I do? From an offensive standpoint, I would have a number 6 or a center back rope me out the ball. I would be on that right touch line, and I would work on a couple different things. I would take a positive first touch in the direction I want to go, and I would have a couple goals around the pitch. I would have one goal on that right touch line, emulating a number 7, a right winger. I would have a goal in the middle of the pitch, emulating a 6, and then another emulating an 8, so 2 small goals there, 1 small goal on the sideline, and then 1 bigger goal or even a smaller goal emulating the 9 or the 10. So what I would do is that center back would rope me out the ball, and you can think of many variations. That center back could tell me, okay, as soon as he hits me that ball, we can work on reaction. He could say, play to the number 7, play to the number 10, play to the number 6, and then he could also tell me, play a driven ball, play a chip ball, play a curl ball. And there, you're literally working on all those offensive actions that you would work on in a game. Next thing you could do is you can move it into cross. Work on chip crosses, work on driven crosses, work on whip crosses. Just be creative and enjoy it. So, you may ask how to do that if you're by yourself. Same exact thing. Try to emulate the same exact movements. Really envision, be creative. The game's about being creative. You are your own artist. And really envision taking those touches, playing those balls in the right places. And if you don't have all the equipment, just work on those simple things against the wall. Like I said, work on quality, crisp, 1-touch balls with each foot. Quality, crisp, 2-touch balls with each foot. Quality, crisp, driven balls. Quality, crisp, curled balls. Quality, crisp, chip balls. How many times am I going to say quality, crisp, buddy? We're not talking about toast. But you're just working on those same exact drills, those same exact movements as an individual. So then when you have a partner to work with, when team training comes, when the game comes, you're ready to go. That's the whole part of individual training. You're really trying to train your mind and your body to emulate and simulate the game as much as possible, make it as game realistic as possible. It's never going to be a real game, but you're trying your hardest, trying your best to make it like a game, so when the game comes, it's easy. So we got 2 more steps to go. The 5th step is, I would say, 5 to 15 minutes of optional fitness. And the reason I say optional is because it's optional dependent on you, dependent on how much you're playing on the weekends, dependent if you're in season, if you're in the off season. This video is way too in-depth to go more in-depth on fitness, because that's all a big time topic, talking about stamina, talking about aerobic bases, talking about anaerobic work, repeated sprints. That is a whole different huge topic, huge YouTube video for itself. If you want me to really dive in, drop a comment and I can do that for you. But optional fitness, depending on if you're playing on the weekend, you can do your fitness, and the best time to do it is after your session, because like I said, when we're doing individual one-on-one sessions or we're working with a partner, our goal is to work on our technique. So we want to be as fresh as possible for our technique so we can do it in the proper way possible. And then at the end of the session, that's a time to do our optional fitness. One thing I always tell my clients when I'm coaching them in season, if they're not playing 45 minutes or more on the weekend, I have them do their fitness, whether it's in an individual training or directly after their game. Reason being is I want them to be 90-minute match fit and ready when that opportunity comes. But like I always tell them, most importantly is listening to their body, and if they have any questions, they come to me, I talk to them. But most important, like I said from the very beginning, is to be ready for that opportunity to play on the big stage in an 11v11 match. Number 6, this is the final thing, the cool down. This is letting your mind and your body rest and recharge. You're taking yourself from a sympathetic state, which is that fight or flight, which is what we were just in our training session, and you're getting yourself into a parasympathetic state of rest and digest. Now is the time that you can start to do static stretching, you can do some breath work to really calm yourself down, get yourself down, and ready to rest and recover to be ready for your next session, whether that's another individual, team training, or game session. So please do not skip this 10-minute cool down. Get your stretches in, stretch the tight muscles, stretch the muscles that you feel like you are more injury prone in, and then you're ready to go. Go enjoy yourself, reward yourself for the hard work, take your feet on the couch, watch a little TV, grab a nice meal, hang out with some friends, enjoy yourself. The rest of the day is up to you. I want to end off with saying for the month of May, I am looking for 4 new one-on-one online coaching clients. If you do not know what my online coaching program is about, I'm going to drop a link below in the description. You can check it out. If you want to reach the next level in your football, in your career, in your body, and in your mind, I promise you this is the program for you. This is a program that's specifically dedicated for very dedicated athletes, dedicated footballers, dedicated entrepreneurs, dedicated stay-at-home mothers, whoever it's welcome to. But if you have to be willing to put in the work, you have to be dedicated, you have to be committed, you need to commit for at least 6 months. And like I always say, this program is not free. You have to invest time and you have to invest money into yourself to improve your health and improve your wealth. And if you want to stop doing all the thinking, you want to stop being overwhelmed by all the stuff on TikTok, all the stuff on Instagram, all the stuff here on YouTube, this program's for you, because I lay out the blueprint and all you have to do is execute on that blueprint, and I promise you results or you will get your money back. Have a good rest of the day. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, please hit that subscribe button, and thank you so much for being part of the RicFit fam. Deuces.